All right, today we're diving into something from Google Labs that could be a total game changer for how we bring ideas to life. It's called Opal, and its promise is huge, letting anyone, and I mean anyone, build AI apps without writing a single line of code. But first, let's talk about a problem that I am sure so many of you have run into. I like to call it the idea-to-app gap. You know, that huge, frustrating canyon between having a brilliant concept and actually having a working tool in your hands.
So let me ask you this. Have you ever had that light bulb moment, that fantastic idea for an AI tool? Maybe something that could automate a boring task at work, or summarize all those articles you're meaning to read, or just do something fun and creative.
And then, bam, you hit the wall. You've got the vision, you know exactly what you want, but you don't have the coding skills to actually build it. And that roadblock right there is what stops countless amazing ideas from ever happening. For most of us, that's where the journey just ends. Well, until now. This slide just nails the difference, doesn't it? The old way meant you had to wrestle with all this complex code, climb a super steep learning curve. It was a whole thing. But the new way, the Opal way, it's all about just using natural language, literally just describing what you want, and then watching it come to life in a visual workflow. Absolutely no code required.
So with that problem laid out, let's properly introduce the solution we're here to explore today, Google's brand new tool, Opal.
Okay, so what is Opal exactly? Think of it as an experimental workbench from Google Labs. It lets you build and share these things called AI mini apps, which are basically simple, focused web apps that do one thing really well. And the way you build them is by connecting different AI models, like different AI brains like Gemini and other tools, all just by using plain conversational English. And who is this for? Is it just for hardcore developers? Not at all. It's for anyone who wants to quickly sketch out an AI idea. Prototype something fast. Or maybe you need to demonstrate a proof of concept to get buy-in. Or maybe you just want to build your own custom AI productivity apps to make your life easier. In short, it's for creators, innovators, and doers. And this really gets to the core of it. The official mission, straight from Google Labs, is empowering creators, innovators, and doers to build the tools they imagine. You see, it's not just about building apps. It's about tearing down that barrier to creation itself. So, the big question is, how does this actually work? How do you go from a simple sentence to a fully functional application? Well, it all breaks down into this really simple three-step process. The whole process is just beautifully simple. First, you just describe what you want your app to do. Seriously, just explain the logic like you're talking to a person. Second, you edit and refine it. You can do that with more plain English commands or by using a visual editor. And finally, you share it instantly. That's it. Now, this is where it gets really, really cool. Opal takes your natural language instructions and automatically translates them into a visual workflow. This means you can actually see the logic of your app laid out step by step without ever having to look at or touch a single line of code. And you have total flexibility when you want to make changes. You can use conversational commands, literally just tell Opal what to do, or you can jump into the visual editor for more of that hands-on, fine-grained control. It gives you both speed and precision, which is awesome. Okay, let's make this even more concrete. Let's walk through a quick example of how a really simple prompt can transform into a working mini-app.
So, imagine you're starting with nothing but an idea, an instruction that you can type in just a few seconds, something that clearly lays out a problem you want to solve. Something like
this. Something as simple as, create a tool that summarizes articles and suggests 3 key takeaways. That's it. That is your entire starting point. No complicated spec sheet, just a clear, simple request. And from that one sentence, Opal builds a powerful, shareable mini-app that does exactly what you asked for. Just think about that for a second. An idea becomes a real tool just like that. That right there is the core promise of Opal, turning simple prompts into real, functional tools.
Okay, so you're probably wondering, this sounds incredible. How can I try this out? Let's cover the practical steps for getting your hands on Opal and getting started right now.
Now, it's really important to know that Opal is brand new. It just launched in a US-only public beta on July 24th, 2025. So it's still very much experimental, and Google is looking for community feedback to help figure out what it becomes. So if you jump in now, you're really getting in on the ground floor. So what are your first steps? Simple. Head over to the Google Labs site. From there, you can explore the demo gallery, which is full of these starter templates. You can use these pre-built apps just as they are, or, and this is the best part, you can remix them to fit exactly what you need. It's the perfect way to learn by doing.
And that brings us to the final and honestly the most important question. When you have a tool this powerful and this easy to use, the only real limit is your own imagination. So what tool will you imagine and build first?